Hey guys, Scarlet Darkwood here. Hope everyone's had a good week. I want to talk about the brink of humanity and how we are on the brink of humanity. Today we are finding ourselves on a very shaky ground, and our humanity and our existence hangs in the balance. It really does. Some of you may have been thinking about that for a while. Some of you maybe have not been. Maybe some of you don't care. I don't know. But I feel like it's worth a discussion. And we need to talk about some of our evolution, what happened, and how did we kind of get to where we are today. And there's a lot of theories on that, a lot of beliefs on it. But I've been doing some studies and I've been watching some other videos and trying to learn a little bit of the history. And it's important to note that there was a time in history many years ago, dating back to ancient Egypt specifically. That's a good one to look at. That during their period of existence, there was a time when men and women were equal. That both had say in the government, the politics, in society, and there was a balance there. There was the wealthy and there was the middle class, and there was no poverty. It was a time of great prosperity. Workers got paid excellent wages. They were able to buy everything they wanted. They actually had a surplus, and it wasn't the living of paycheck to paycheck or, hand to mouth or robbing Peter to pay Paul. They had abundance, and their leaders made sure there were systems in place so that that happened. And slowly over time, after that period ended, there was a devolution, I call, that took place. And that place and time was in the Western cultures as we know it today, but in Europe and other places in the 1200s, you saw an increase in the patriarchy, and that women were suddenly relegated to the backside, the behind the scenes. They were seen as not important. They were not seen as valuable, nor their input. And you also had the incoming of the church, organized religion. And I'm not here to get into tons of history on that. I'm sure any of you who want to comment below can add your thoughts or maybe what you know. But somewhere around this time, the church started realizing that they could control the masses. You had the patriarchy and the leaders, or a group who just decided they didn't want to give up power. They liked it too much. And putting women in the background and suddenly telling people that you can only go through the church, you can only go through us. It was a way of separating us from the cosmic or God, and it put them in power, and they used fear to do that. They used fear to scare us. They made rules that said if you don't follow this way, something bad's going to happen. And people seem to latch on to fear. And as you know, there's a lot of things going on where there is a lot of fear going on, whether there's anything to it or not, I don't know. I'm not here to debate that. But you had groups that gained power. It was men and the organization of the church, and they took power. And all of a sudden, you just saw a decrease in everything. Society, the way business was conducted, just everything. It all fell apart. And slowly, people started becoming steeped in darkness. They became ignorant. They became separated from their own divine power. They became separated from making choices in their lives and taking control of their lives and doing things to uplift themselves. They were just taught to follow the status quo. And so that's happened for the last at least 800 years, maybe longer. I don't have an exact timeline. But what's interesting is we're seeing a little bit of an awakening with that. With the millennials and probably the Gen Yers and Zers, they're not falling for the religion anymore. They're not having any of what the older generations have been subjected to and followed for a long, long time. They're having none of it. And they're finding that they are slowly making their way back to their own divinity. They were born into this world, and they brought with them an innate knowledge that there was something more, that they were something more, that they have an inner power that in our generation, the older ones, it's been suppressed. They were born with a little bit of that knowledge, or a greater understanding of that knowledge, even if they don't quite know it yet. But they're not playing by the rules anymore, and they're bucking the system. And you're seeing women being brought to the forefront. You're seeing a push for more diversity, more women being included into everything. And you always want the best people in everything. But a lot of women for so long have been excluded when good ones could have made a difference in the world. Well, that's slowly starting to change, and they're starting to see their own power. They're not going with religion, and they're actually going more towards paganism, or a study of, I guess, Wiccan. They say that's the highest growing religion. There's just a lot of that now. They're not going to the old ways. They're latching on to the older ways, which actually had a balance, because anything in spirituality has a balance. And so we're seeing ourselves slowly starting to shift. Now, whether they can carry it on out and make the big shift back into a balance and a world where we're not so steeped in dogma and we can start getting our own power back, I don't know. It depends. That remains to be seen. I know with the older generation, your time has come and gone. My time has come and gone. So I just want you to stop and think that you can always take your power back, no matter how old you are, young or old. And it might be worth it to study some spiritual teachings. The Rosicrucians have a great program to teach you the arcane knowledge. Some people join the Golden Dawn. I'm not familiar with that organization, though I've heard of it a lot. But it's just, let's take ourselves away from being on the brink. Let's step back and get the power back. Let's understand how we fit in the cosmos, what our power is, how we can take control of situations, and how we can make a difference in our lives and in others, and how we can help each other along in our evolution and to become a sustaining race, because we stand the risk of being annihilating ourselves. And we don't want that to happen. You know, we were created because we were seen as something valuable, and it's time we start seeing that value in ourselves, in everything that we do, everything that we say, every action we take. Let's just keep that in mind. Let's bring ourselves from the brink, and just remember, you have part of that cosmic divinity in you. It's your birthright. Take advantage of it, and let's make a difference. If anybody has any comments, put them in the comments below, and I'd love to hear what you think. I am an author, I do write, so check out my Amazon page, and there are some books that I've written that have some spiritual elements in it. I have those listed in the description and the About section. Check the About section. Anyway, I hope you got something out of this video, and let me know what you think, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for joining me.